Good morning. My name is Philippe Chapel and I work for Konica Minolta here in the UK. We're delighted to be here to support the Accounts Payable Association and you, the community. Today we want to challenge you a little. We want to challenge you with some new technologies, new thinking, new possibilities for AP. Artificial intelligence is clearly changing how we live. In our personal lives, in my personal lives, it very much feels like we are living in the future, but today. So we can talk to and control our appliances at home, something that was only the stuff of science fiction just a few years ago. Intelligent apps help us to find the fastest route to anywhere we wish to go and using any mean of transport. It connects to all the latest schedules and information and actually even recommend where I sit on the train to get a seat and not really end up at the very wrong end of the platform. So clever stuff, really. But it does bear the question. So how about our work lives? And the question is your work embracing technology, intelligent technology, in the same way? I guess it's fair to say that this, what is called this fourth industrial revolution, hasn't just had the impact on businesses that it has on our personal lives. And actually, it can be a little scary because there's clearly a degree of fear about these new technologies, and actually is totally understandable. But really, this old world is being disrupted. And so we need to prepare for a new relationship with technology. So it's not about replacing human performance, it's actually enhancing human performance. And this will transform business operation, such as account payable, into something more efficient and help this department to become more strategic. So it's often overcoming that fear I've mentioned earlier on and that inertia. So past, I guess, negative experience of IT project and forgiving legacy systems, complicated IT processes, and also changing that delicate balance. Interconnected business processes um, can feel risky. And sometimes the whole thing can just feel too big, actually, without the right support. So the account payable process, let's have a closer look at the actual process itself. So clearly you could see that the process is rather straightforward at first glance. Raise a PO, receive goods, inspect the goods, enter an invoice, matching the PO, matching the receipt, make the payment, done. And so while on the surface, this process has a very, I would say, clear structure and purpose, you scratch that surface and I guess yourself listening to this presentation, you will know, you find a rather different and more complex world in front of you. It's a world of part automation, so technology is doing some heavy lifting, but at the same time, people are behind and between those automated tasks. So for example, dealing with exceptions, manual tasks, so missing information, manual data entry, matching, approval failures, internal suppliers queries or suppliers handling questions, challenges with tracking, challenges with the cash flow visibility, the reporting, the stress of month end and year end. So all that also aspect of early payment discount and maybe the missed opportunity associated to it and the compliance aspect of it, and obviously trying to very much, keep on the right side of the supplier or suppliers, and actually the risk of fraudulent activities in general. So these problems are more than just inconveniences. They are actually really really time consuming. And here's a percentage which I found quite staggering. It's the average account payable professional time spent on transaction processing, 84%. It's enormous. So surely there is a better way. Nearly two-thirds of invoices, for example, processed by businesses require some form of manual intervention. 1% of payment are duplicate or overpayment. And all this means that actually AP departments are focusing on the demand of today, of the now, rather than thinking of tomorrow and the day after. So let's take a step back and review some, I would say, some description of what we mean by intelligent technology. Clearly, you may well have heard of RPA, robotic process automation, intelligent automation, obviously artificial intelligence. There's also another component people start to talk more and more about is augmented intelligence. But with the purpose of this slide, let's look at robotic process automation. It's very much the automation of manual, routine, transactional, repetitive data entry tasks, best at processes and structured data that does not need thinking. So in short, it mimics human tasks. And on the very far end of the spectrum, we have artificial intelligence. And that's the ability for computers and machines to think and act like a human. And I like to think that in between the two, there is intelligent automation, which is an evolution of robotic process automation, RPA, handling semi-structured and even unstructured data, which can find, for example, and fix incorrect or missing data. In short, I like to describe intelligent automation as mimicking human intelligence. So how are smart and intelligent technologies going to change how we do things, our processes? So we just talked about intelligent automation. Obviously, we're not talking about artificial intelligence per se. That's still, I would say, science fiction. So we're talking about something more specific to domains and tasks and processes. So image recognition and computer vision technologies can actually extract data from images and documents, as well as interact with systems, just like you and I can do. Then we have neural networks that can analyze and discover patterns in huge data sets for structuring information, decision making, and obviously reporting. Then we have natural language processing, which means that software can understand us and ask questions. That can understand context and, in some instances, even sentiment, and respond accordingly. And one example coming to mind is some chatbots. Amazon obviously have those kind of chatbots, and many others. And that really is an example of how technology is actually using natural language processing. And then we have machine learning. Software can learn decision, workflow from you as well as past experiences, which sounds a bit scary, but clearly it's happening now. So when you combine these intelligent technologies with existing automation and now the power and the scalability, say, of the cloud-based computing, well, you really get disruptive possibilities for innovation. And I guess that's the source of all the excitement we've noticed in the press, on TV, and within forums and conferences. That's really is the source of all this excitement. So how can all these apply to us within AP? I mean, intelligent technology make AP automation more effective at handling the variables. This means also new efficiencies with fewer manual tasks and interventions across the entire process, the entire AP process. So, for example, no manual data entry. So, intelligent capture can reliably extract the relevant data from invoices and other documents in any format and any source, actually including even line items. Less manual processes down the line. Intelligent workflow can verify the invoices across many different kind of variables to complete that three-way matching process, applying the relevant GL code and removing any duplicates. But actually, it doesn't just stop here. We know that much of the work of AP involves dealing with people, often chasing those very people. An automated process based on business rules, your business rules, can actually reduce manual intervention to a very minimum. And even when there are exceptions, intelligent solution can actually reach out to the stakeholders, request more information, and based on the reply, in some cases, restart the whole process again. So even the exceptions no longer are exceptions. And we find often that businesses have their own sub-processes. So intelligent automation technologies can actually configure and train to automate those workflows as well. So what are the benefits of automation? Well, there are very many, and here are 8 listed in front of you. But there is obviously the aspect of cost reduction, quality, avoiding human errors, non-stop operation. A robot will work 9 to 5, and I guess 6 to 8. There is also no training cost, no recruitment cost, no downtime, no break, no holidays, no sick days. But the 3 aspects which really excite me the most in those benefits is that agility aspect. So the capacity can be increased and processes can actually become strongly more agile. And we've seen that within Konica Minolta UK. With our own processes when we started to deploy intelligent automation ourselves for our own needs. There's scalability. And so it's very much a frictionless automation. No change to the system or systems. No changes to existing business processes. So I simply like to describe it as adding a turbo to an existing engine. So it's not replacing the existing, it's not changing the existing, it's actually adding to it and improving it. And the other third aspect I really like is one can start very, very small. One can start with just one robot, for example. It's the land and expand situation. You start with one process, and as the success comes its way, and we've seen that many times with our customers actually, people just really expand and have more robots, more intelligent automation being deployed. And that's really is the beauty of this intelligent automation. The benefits, of course, go beyond just the cost saving, as mentioned. It's an opportunity for efficiency within the entire process. It's about new services, new levels, reduced risk, added value to the business. So new level of insight, new levels of control, as intelligent automation turn what used to be manual reports into live automated dashboard and insight across the entire process, tracking, reporting, forecasting, already that can be automated. But it's also real-time compliance checks and audit, and that can also be automated. So no longer fearing are we compliant, and what is the audit going to come out with. But it's also scalable, as mentioned in the previous slides. And that's very much in the nature of that intelligent automation technology, especially when it's cloud-based. And without the heavy lifting, AP team can actually focus on the more strategic, the creative ideas, the way to improve an existing process and actually improve cash flow. So not just the actual transaction itself, but going beyond, um, how can that benefit the whole business as a whole? And there's also a strong benefit for staff. And again, we've seen that ourselves internally within Konica Minolta UK. Um, we felt it was needed to take with us people on that journey. And so focusing more on then the creative, the complex, the project-based element of AP that actually intelligent automation cannot do. So time to understand the insight and actually proactively come up with new ideas to add value to the business. So for example, greater insight back into the P&L of the owner of the division, supporting suppliers in the negotiation and the actual overall management of the supply chain, and finding new ways to improve the cash flow. So systematically capturing the early payment discount, for example. And again, it was time for us to work more with stakeholders and suppliers to actually become true partners, to solve the complex problems, to solve some of the escalation issues. And what we have noticed, again, internally within KM UK is new roles. So be able to free people to really express themselves beyond the purely transactional. For example, Center of Excellence being created, and obviously more opportunities for learning and development. So here's a typical account payable process today. As you could see, so collect a job from a CRM, here's the start. Collect remittance details. Collect other fields within the CRM system. Open and save a PDF. Save the PDF in the right store. Digitize it. The PDF then is interpreted and read and interpreted. The document details are recorded. The employee then extract the information. Supplier system is accessed and updated and completed, and then obviously the receipt is added to the CRM system. Not a very long process, you may well say. Probably take 3-4 minutes, maybe 5 at most, with usually a cost really, and the industry is quite in agreement with that figure, $10, £8 sterling for that process. Now let's look at how virtually a robot, an intelligent automation system can do it. You start the virtual workers, as we like to call them, extract that information, scan it, so intelligent OCR scanning, which means understanding the actual document, grabbing the right information within the document, PDF, Word document, Excel, or otherwise. Go into updating the actual CRM system with the pertinent, the relevant information, and going into the supplier's system and then update that and then pay the supplier the right amount, the required amount. And that really takes between 15 and 20 seconds. Literally, we've seen that ourselves internally. And it's quite staggering to see how quick it can really do it. Cost, we reckon 90 cents, so less than $1. We're talking about 75 pence, 80 pence at most. So clearly you could see the advantage here. And so I'd like actually to conclude with what I like to call those golden rules for automation. So deploying your intelligent automation involves, as mentioned, people, processes, and technology. It's not simply a piece of software per se. And I would say that there isn't one right approach for everyone, because your business is clearly different from ours. In fact, very different. This is why we take a consultative approach and can actually deliver for finance or AP automation. And whether it's simple digitization or software robots to fill the gap, dedicated account payable and purchase to pay platform with advanced function like function in the cloud or on-premise, or even deploying an enterprise content management system or an automation platform with specific modules, we actually always start with a detailed assessment to capture first, understand then your business goals, your requirements, and then map the current state across people, process, and technology. And that is followed by a gap identification exercise, which then paves the way to a proposal. So I think and that's what we have actually done internally for our own personal needs within Konica Minolta UK. So the other golden rule I like to say is, if you're looking for a partner, look for one that will support you and guide you all the way through that entire journey, transformation journey, with end-to-end capabilities from needs analysis to design, solution design, project management, implementation, maybe even software development if needed, transition, and the actual support. And as mentioned, it's very important to take people on board with you to gain internal buy-in within the management, within the operational level. I mean, internal resistance we also experience is actually surprised us. It shouldn't have, but it did. And so when we work with partners, when we work with customers, we very much make sure that actually the internal buy-in is there, very present and key. And finally, I'd like to simply say that let's keep it real. Start with what I like to call the low-hanging fruit, where you can identify the quick performance improvements and build from there. So we're here to help you and your AP team achieve what we like to call now internally operational excellence. So lead to change within your organization. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please let us know. Thank you.